LeBron James changed the league forever, and it might have been for the worst. Hey guys, Emmanuel here, and before I jump into this video, I just want to ask you guys to give me the HBO special, and that is the Help a Brother Out. And you can do that by hitting the subscribe button and leaving a like underneath this video. I'd really appreciate it, but I'm not one for long intro, so let's jump back into this story. The NBA is a completely different league than it was 13 years ago when LeBron James decided to take his talents to South Beach. And at the time, LeBron may have not noticed, but that would go on to be one of the most significant things that he's ever done in this league. And some of those changes have been good, but in my opinion, I think they've made things worse for the NBA. And players are going to find this out in the next collective bargaining agreement. Let me explain. Ever since LeBron James made it a norm for players to have agency over where they want to play, the league has de-evolved into a worse state, into something that the fans aren't liking and the owners aren't liking. And I put the blame on LeBron James because the league goes where LeBron goes. That's the power that comes with being LeBron James, being the best player in the NBA for the past 15 years, the face of the NBA. LeBron sets the standard for the league. And although, in my opinion, LeBron was justified in making his move to go to Miami, it still doesn't absolve him of the blame of how the league is right now. Let's take the case of Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Kevin Durant, for instance. All three of these players are some of the best players in the NBA and some of the biggest stars the NBA has to offer. But they all have something in common. They feel they have no obligation to their word due to the normalcy of player mobility ushered in by LeBron James when he went to Miami. Kyrie Irving, for instance, signs a contract and has no intentions of fulfilling that contract. He did this in Cleveland. When Kyrie Irving signed an extension with the Cleveland Cavaliers, everything looked peachy for him. He'd won a championship with LeBron James and arguably could have won more if he had stayed. But when things got chippy, when his ego got too big and he wanted to have the same powers as LeBron did, and rightfully so, the Cleveland Cavaliers didn't give him, what did he do? He forced himself out of Cleveland and went to Boston. Now, he loved Boston. Everything was supposed to work out for him in Boston. He was supposed to be the leader of this new young group of guys that could someday win the championship. But when things got chippy, right? When it didn't work out in his favor, when the Boston Celtics didn't roll over and let him walk all over them, what did Kyrie Irving do? He forced his way out of Boston into Brooklyn. Recently, what just happened with Kyrie Irving? Kyrie Irving's on Dallas Mavericks. What happened? Things didn't work out with the Brooklyn Nets, but he was still under contract. What did he do? Forced his way out of Brooklyn to Dallas. Same thing with James Harden. James Harden signed one of the richest contracts that a player has ever signed in the NBA with the Houston Rockets. And during his tenure with the Houston Rockets, the Rockets as an organization have done everything to back and support James Harden. From the minute they traded for James Harden all the way back in 2013, they've done their very best to surround James Harden with as much talent as possible in order for him to succeed. They signed Dwight Howard when Dwight Howard was still good. They signed Chris Paul. They signed Russell Westbrook, and they didn't work out. James Harden fell short with all those guys. And when things weren't working out for him, when he wasn't feeling it anymore, what did he do? He forced his way out of Houston by what? Wearing a fat suit. The way that James Harden left the Houston Rockets was so unprofessional. He went to the Brooklyn Nets. Where are the Brooklyn Nets? It was a crockpot of guys who were unstable, unprofessional, in Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Kevin Durant. And when the boat started to rock a little bit, what did James Harden do? Right away, left and went to the Philadelphia 76ers. Same thing with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was in Golden State with Stephen Curry and was arguably the best position in terms of basketball. He was on one of the best teams ever in NBA history, right? Had won 2 championships, but when things got chippy between him and Draymond Green, what does he do? He asked for a trade, forced himself out of Golden State. He was signed and traded to the Brooklyn Nets for D'Angelo Russell and a few picks. And then, recently, as soon as Kyrie Irving rocked the boat and he left, what did Kevin Durant do? Kevin Durant immediately asked for a trade.